going on, everybody?
That was energetic.
Welcome back to the Juice. Man, since last time we did a podcast, we had some things going on and happening.
Yep. We didn't have a guest. We just kind of got on here and winged it. We were close to the studio, Captain Ron Studios, and said, you know what we haven't done in a long time is talk trash into a microphone and post it on the internet. Let's go do that.
People love it, honestly.
I hope so. I enjoy doing it. But we didn't have a guest last time, so we got one today.
No, we do. We got a very special guest. It's gonna be Mr. Lee Livesey, and you know, if you haven't been paying attention to the bass fishing world lately, just know he's one of the hotter anglers going right now.
Got a hot hand right now.
Got a hot hand coming off a win over there at Ross Barnett a few months back, and then coming into Lake Fork and going for a back-to-back hometown dub right there at Lake Fork. So
yeah, no, I'm excited to get him online talking, but I'm hoping we can do more of these. We say this every episode. Oh, we promise. Next week. Oh, next month. You don't hear from us for a couple weeks.
It's always like it's hard for us to go week to week to week to week, but we've got to do it. It's the only way we're gonna grow this thing.
Logistically, you live an hour from here.
Yeah.
You're busy guiding.
Yep, that's true.
I don't really do much.
But we got to make it a point and we did say last episode that this summer we were going to try to push it harder. So here we are. The tournament season is now finally coming to a
it's over. I mean, regular season, I should say.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Now the only thing left is the championships in the fall. You know, we've got a few other random ones here and there, but the season's over. You know, it's kind of a time for a lot of guys to decompress. And
my boat's gone. I sold my boat.
You just sold your boat yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
2 days ago, his boat's gone.
Don't have one. Anybody wants to take me fishing?
Yeah. Now we're just talking about, for us, we're not talking about the elites and the other pro tours.
Yeah. We're talking about average Joe, local weekenders,
team
derbs, team derbs.
Yeah, because the Opens, technically, we still got a few more of them as well. So,
but you wrapped up your the Toyota Series. What do they call it? They call it the Southwestern, and you qualified.
We did, man, and it's been. Thank you everybody for the calls and texts, man. I really appreciate it, and you don't really realize how many people watch you and pay attention until something like that happens, and I just can't say thank you enough to my sponsors and all my friends and stuff. But really, it feels like the work has just began. Like getting ready for that next season, trying to see if it's a possibility, and that's been an eye opener. Honestly, and I think their viewers kind of don't get to see that kind of part of that, like once you do qualify and like what it takes to afford to be able to do that. And it's like, in my mind, my number is 50,000, right? That's just being completely honest. If we're, going to be completely honest about it, it's 35,000 just in entry fees for the pro circuit.
And that's for how many events?
6.
6 events.
Yeah. Well, with a championship, you got to qualify for, of course.
Sure. So are you going?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't really announced that whether I am or not that anybody cares.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but I think so. I've had some sponsors really step up in a big way to say, hey, man, we want to see this happen. And there's still a couple of ones that I'm waiting to see, but to be honest, me and you just came off of something pretty special ourselves. So
yeah, that's a good little.
Yeah, for Texas Team Trail, we just won the Texas Team Trail Championship on Choke Canyon. That was a really good payday, and to be honest, it didn't really hit, like after we won, it didn't hit me how important and how special it was until afterwards when I had several guys of my, some of my buddies that actually fished the pro circuit, like Dakota and Colby Miller and a couple of them guys. They're like, dude, that's a big win for you. Like, here you are on the verge of going to the pro circuit, and like now you just got a big win that's going to help you a lot. And I didn't even think about it that way. Until
a little cushion in the bank account never hurts.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely going to happen. I hope it all works out, but I think we're gonna go do it. And like I said, me and you, that's another reason why we didn't film a podcast. I think in between here.
Yeah, after we did that last episode, we left the choke, and that was there. We were there for a week. It was 2 days of practice, 2 day event.
Yep.
That was a hot one.
Oh my goodness, it was 107 degrees or something like that one day, and like you're down there in South Texas, dude. Like when the wind was blowing, it felt like somebody had a dang.
It was warm.
I mean, it was
warm.
felt like you opened an oven door.
Yeah. No, we actually we talked about doing a little side episode about that. If anybody's interested in that, you know, it's kind of how we caught them. That was one of those tournaments where we went down there with a game plan. We kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do and how we thought it could be won and how we wanted to practice for that. With gas prices, we only brought one boat, but
we did, especially, you know, he's kind of getting into it now. Like we wanted to go offshore and spend a lot of time out there. And that's, you know, 2 boats is really nice to have when you're doing that.
Yeah, especially what we were doing, trying to outgraph everybody. That was kind of our motto: is if we can outgraph the field.
Yes, and to only bring one boat, you know, we still, thankfully, Choke is not that big of a lake.
No,
and we kind of focus on specific areas, and we broke it down, and you know, special things happen. But I think it would be good to do a side episode, mainly because there's a whole series of YouTube episodes going around about getting 5th. So. I think it would be good to kind of break down how the winners did it.
I did not think you were going there.
Oh,
this is the juice, I guess.
No, there's a whole series going around about how
to win a tournament.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's about how to win, but figuring things out.
I don't know.
And it's cool. Like I've seen it, but I just want to maybe dispel if there's any rumors going around, maybe that
Dakota.
I just want to like if maybe I don't even know if this is true, but. Like if there's any rumors going around, like, you know, maybe they were given something or shown something or like this. That's not what happened at all. Like
it's the live scope thing. I've got a label as a live scoper. I think you have too, and they think that's all we do.
Absolutely,
I love that though.
Yeah, that is absolutely not what we did at Choke. And
I did catch one.
You did. Shane did catch one random one.
Not intentional.
It was a good one. We weighed it day one. You know, but with that being said, we didn't need that fish to win. You take that fish out of our bag, we still win the tournament day one. So
I think we need to do an episode on this. The more we get to talking about it, the more I realize how much time we
will. And I didn't really feel pressed to do it until then. Like, you know, I kind of wanted to do a recap video of it anyways because it's special to
win. We'll never forget that one.
To win that one. I mean, I had never been there. You had been there very little. I mean, you had anything that we did in this tournament had nothing to do with.
I gotta fix this.
Oh Lord, it's hanging. Oh, it's all right, dude. Nobody cares. But anyways, yeah, like I think it deserves. You know, like let's hear it from the winner's point of view. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it'd be good. We'll do a little segment on that. Kind of show our baits, show what we used, how we did it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can learn something from it. Maybe you can't.
Yeah.
If not,
I think. It's a good time to get Mr. Lee Livesey on the phone.
Get somebody really important on?
Yeah, let's get somebody that's actually important on.
I'm excited about this guy. How long have we been talking to him?
Dude, we've been trying to set this up for, I know, a month. Like, I know of a month.
Yeah. What's his name again? There it is.
It's hard to get this guy on the phone.
I'm just kidding. Don't
Did
get
you
mad.
call him?
No. We ready?
Yeah, call him.
Okay.
This is a busy man right now. That's good.
Hello.
Mr. Lee Livesey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
We are good, man. We were just talking you up a little bit here before getting you on the phone and talk about how special kind of a career you've had up to this point, and you got a lot left in you.
Yeah, I'm ready to go to the next one so we can keep it rolling.
What is the next one?
St. Lawrence River. I leave in the morning.
There you go.
Oh,
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous.
That's a little bit of a haul right there.
Temperature's probably pretty nice up there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's in the 50s or 60s in the morning and 70s in the afternoon. You never know. It can get hot up there, too, but it's always hoodie weather in the morning.
That's awesome.
Well, like Wyatt said, we were kind of bragging on you a little bit. I want to drop some stats here, and you feel free to kind of correct me if I'm wrong. But so 4 years full-time pro. Is that 4 years in the elites?
Correct.
Okay, and this one shocked me, and I'm very impressed by this.
Yeah,
51 tournaments.
Yeah.
45 times in the money.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's freaking ridiculous, dude. That's
well, some of that is scaped because in 2020, I think they paid every spot, or maybe it was 2019. They paid everybody.
Now you're just being humble.
So any cut I missed in 19, they were still paying me.
Still though.
Still.
Right.
Still.
Dumb numbers there.
And 3 elite wins in the last 3 years, and 4 wins. How many wins including the Opens? 4? Just Ross Barnett?
Yep, 4 total. 3 elites and 1 open.
That's awesome, man.
So tell us a little bit about your background, kind of how you got to the elites. Is it something you always wanted to do? I know you've been guiding a long time around here in Lake Fork, and kind of give us a little background on how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, and I'm just like anybody else for the most part. I grew up fishing just ponds and off the bank, and nobody in my family really fishes much. They'll go fishing, but I fished with my grandpa just for crappie and stuff off the bank, and lived in Oklahoma, and then moved down here to Kilgore around Lake Fork, and my dad would take me fishing, don't get me wrong, but he didn't care about bass fishing. And just bought a couple of little beater boats, aluminum boats, and started fishing around East Texas. Started fishing Fork a little more. We had no idea what we were doing. We were going out there with a aluminum boat, trolling motor, and just fishing. Did a lot of night fishing, and just kind of developed from there. Fork's kind of like Rayburn, even more so than Rayburn. You get these lakes in Texas or wherever. It's all the same, no matter where you go. But Lake Fork's just famous and legendary from all the anglers and the guides and the big fish, obviously, and just the history it has. So you go once and you go in the marinas when you're a little kid, see all the, used to be like worm bars and stuff like that were in the bait shops, and you just kind of get addicted to the lake. The same thing when people get addicted to Rayburn and people get addicted to Gunnersville or whatever it is, wherever you're at. So I just kind of got hooked on that Fork little aura, of history. And, I'm sure I was always, what if with my dad, what if we catch a 20-pounder? What if we, Fork is just one of those lakes that you dream of when you're little, and it just keeps growing when you get older. People, it's Lake Fork for a reason. It's, got just such a rich history with the size of fish that you can catch there, and just kind of went from there, and I didn't bass fish a lot. We didn't tournament fish or anything like that. I ran trot lines and jug lines and noodled and crappie fished and striper fished and fished fine dams and in creeks and just anywhere I could, and then just kind of developed more towards high school. We bought a couple bass boats, just old beater bass boats, and started fishing a little bit more. Still nothing tournament wise. Just I was actually, I could drive and actually take off and go fishing instead of my dad like sleeping in the back of the boat or something, just taking me fishing. So it just kind of grew from there. And then I went to college in Louisiana and started fishing tournaments over there, and fished a bunch over there around Monroe, Caney and D'Arbonne and Washita River and stuff like that. And then I started coming back over to Texas and fishing champs with a buddy from Monroe. And that's kind of where it started, and came over here and just got thumped the first year or two that we fished. And then started actually competing at the Bass Champs level and Triple T level and stuff like that. And then I moved back to Texas after I got through the college at ULM and started guiding on Lake Fork, and started actually fishing bigger tournaments and local tournaments and stuff like that. Or still fishing champs, but I started winning some AOIs and champs, and winning some tournaments and champs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the guide business was getting better and better after the first couple of years, and it really just took off from there. And guiding is kind of what obviously rounded me as an angler, but it got me into the opens. It got me sponsorship not just fishing related stuff, more non-endemic from
Sure,
my
sure.
clientele. A lot of my sponsors still to this day, this non-endemic stuff is from guiding and the people that I've met through there. I had a buddy, he's a good friend now, obviously, Matt McMillan. He fished champs and Triple T. He fishes all over the place. He's pretty good. He's still fishing with Trevor Romans. Used to fish the Elite Series from the North Texas area. But he was like, man, you're pretty good on one of the guide trips I had with him. You got to fish the Opens. And I was like, man, I would, but I'm not paying,
Yeah.
whatever the Opens were in 17, $5,000, $6,000, whatever they were. And he was like, man, I got a truck and insurance company. I can sponsor you with it and write it off, and I'll travel with you, and I'll fish it too. And that's kind of how I started. And, a lot of my non-endemic stuff came from guiding and people that I met through guiding. And it still develops to this day. Just added another company the other day from a new guide client. But so that's kind of where it started. Just fishing champs in Texas, seeing you can compete, and then the guiding, and then started fishing the Opens with Matt, and I almost won the first Open I fished on the Arkansas River, and then bombed the next two, and then the next year I almost qualified. I literally had the fish to qualify on the final day of the last Open, and dropped out of it, and then obviously made it the next year and started fishing the Elites in 2019, and this is my fourth season, pretty much midway through the season right now.
Okay. So it sounds like your guy client there, McMillan, you said he, former Elite Pro himself, was kind of a driving factor for you. So, man, you're good enough to compete at that level. You should go for it.
Yeah, and he didn't used to fish the Elites, but his team partner.
Okay, his team partner did. Okay,
team partner did. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, that's a really cool story. I do hear that a lot from a lot of guys. I know Wyatt talks about that too. He's got some of his sponsors. I know Daryl, another guy that you know pretty well out there, pick up a lot of non-endemics. But one of them that really interests me is Whiskey Myers. How did that connection happen? If that's even still?
Yeah, and that wasn't total guide clientele, but it was definitely pre-elite. Obviously, they're just. I just got off the phone with Cody. Actually, that's weird. They're East Texas guys, love to hunt and fish. Came from nothing, just good old boys. And they grew up around me, but I didn't know them in high school or anything like that.
Gotcha.
But then my buddy David Reynolds owns a bar in McKinney called Hank's. I used to go up there when I was in college. I'd drive back to Texas and go party with some friends and stuff. Well, Whiskey Myers was playing there, like when they were nobody. Back then, like 8 deep in an Astro van, playing for a couple $100 a night. And that's where I met Cody and John, and just the whole crew, was there. But I started fishing with Cody.
I got you.
After that, Cody Cannon, and just fished a bunch and hung out and enjoyed each other's company. And we always used to say, we'd always say, man, if you make it big one day, I'm going to support you, and vice versa. Obviously, they blew up before I did, and traveling all over the world, covering for the Rolling Stones and all the stuff that they've done. Well, he always used to say, "Hey, if you ever qualify for the Elites, we're going to sponsor you." Whiskey Myers is like, "Yeah, right, dude." Whatever. And literally, like, he was one of the first guys besides my beer guy. Cody's the actual manager Eddie called me and said, "Hey, Cody says he wants to sponsor you," and I was like for real? And he's like, "Yeah." So that's kind of how that happened, and it's pretty cool to watch how it's grown in the sport, and just random people that you would never listen to Whiskey Myers. It's kind of spread like wildfire. So I think it's actually been good for both sides of the team. So it's pretty cool. But that's how it started, and we're keeping that rolling for sure.
Yeah, that is super cool, man. That's probably got to be like the coolest sponsor.
Yeah.
On the entire Elite Series. For me,
yeah,
anyway.
That's the one I get asked about the most, for sure. But I've been seeing the last couple of years, I've seen a couple other kind of like red dirt country music on a couple boats. So we started a little something. I've seen a couple other bands on some boats too.
Yeah, definitely sparked my interest with my buddy Joey Greer. Yeah, me and Joey have had the same conversation.
Tell Joey to hurry up and make it.
I was like, Joey, you're gonna be on my boat, dude. I'll let you year one for free. After that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, 2019, you hit the elites and like hit it running, basically. I mean, you've had a phenomenal elite career for, there's a lot of people you kind of see a little learning curve, but it seems like you kind of just jumped in and fit right in.
No, we actually had a shot to win my first one. Top 10, my first elite event was the one. It was probably the coolest tournament I've been in since I've been in the elites. It's the last one that Rick Clunn won was actually my first one. And
down there in Florida,
St. John's.
Yeah, St. John's. That was my very first elite event. I top 10'd it, and I was in whatever 4th or 5th, but I had a shot because we were catching giant bags.
Yeah.
And the two fish that he pretty much caught 2 10-pounders the final day when he won. They were big 9s or 10s. I don't even know. I don't remember, but they were close to 10. And like he literally caught both of them within eyesight of them. They were both fishing the same bank. And my cameraman got to watch Rick Clunn catch. I got to see Rick Clunn catch both 10-pounders on the final day and beat me my first elite event. Put it that way. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Unlike stupid stuff that Rick goes a curl toe worm and a ugliest spinnerbait you ever seen in your life.
Yeah. That Lucky Strike one that he likes to throw or whatever it is.
Yeah, and like the weirdest color ever with like a salt and pepper curl tail chartreuse tail grub worm on the back. So it was pretty cool watching them win that event.
Yeah, that is. Man, talk about an entry into the elites.
Yeah, here you go.
Watching one of the best do it.
There you go, Buck.
And top 10. Yeah, that's gotta feel really cool. Just to I'm sure, maybe not you, but I feel like I'd have those questions in my mind, like, do I belong here? Let's see how this goes, and bam.
Yeah,
I'm good. We can do this.
Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely in the back of your mind, especially with I've never traveled around and fished anywhere besides Texas. Pretty much Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma stuff. So
yeah,
it's different just jumping out there and traveling and fishing, not pre-practicing or anything like that, and seeing if you can figure it out in 2.5 days and compete.
Yeah. Well, so another two events here, the last 2 Lake Forks. I mean, you had to have been licking your chops when you saw those on the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very blessed to have, and it's kind of the worst week of your life, but the best at the same time. There's so much pressure and so much just phone calls and articles and podcasts and people asking you, and our guys asking and family and friends coming in. Just it's a bunch that week, but at the same time, obviously, I would love to fish there every tournament. Obviously,
yeah.
The hometown curse is the deal, and it's crazy how much pressure you're under the week that you're fishing at your house.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I remember the first time I ever fished an open, it was on Rayburn, and you can ask Shane, I was not doing well. And there's like so many other guys that are picked for favorites than me, but I was not doing well, man. And I'm so excited to get back for the last open here this time, just with a new perspective on it and stuff. But I think the most special thing for me was with you at Lake Fork is like you won it 2 totally different ways. Like you got to show how much experience and how much knowledge you really have of that fishery, and like I think that was what was special to me. Every angler that on his home body of water, especially in an event like that, would love to showcase just what all he can do on that body of water. I know I would love to have that opportunity to show how versatile and different things you can do on here on Rayburn. But you got to do that, man, and that was special. And I heard you make a comment about the last or about the most recent win at Fork, about how, one of these spots is not an area that you knew all that well. Like it was something that you found. It was a new area for you in practice. Maybe I'm wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you said. And I think that's really special as well. So, if you want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, it was, obviously I know the lake really good, and I fished the whole lake, pretty much, for that time of year. And I've never even looked at that spot before, to be honest. And
yeah.
I fish a lot around there. I've never even seen anybody on that spot. I fish a lot of deep stuff just outside of there that I would see a boat sitting on,
Yeah.
And kind of put feelers out there with, anybody else catch them there, kind of? And no. So I don't know if anybody's ever even caught them there that time of year. It's kind of a do-nothing spot in the timber. And honestly, it happened because of we started on a Sunday this time for practice. We had an off day. So it was Sunday. There was a big bass tournament going on Fork. The Legends of Lake Fork tournament was going on. There was like 800 boats in it. Obviously, all our guys were there. The weekend crowd was there, and I was just thinking, man, I'm just not going to be able to look at anything, you know. But this fish is pretty small. I'm not even going to be able to graph over and see if they're there because there's going to be a boat sitting somewhere close to it that I don't want to. Not that I don't want them to see me on it. I just don't want to screw with them because they're fishing, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to see me looking at stuff too, you know. So I didn't even look at anything cool that day until late in the afternoon when everybody was kind of putting up. So I just put my boat in the water. I was staying at my buddy Paul's house on the lake. Put my boat in the water that morning. I almost didn't even practice, which thank God I did. Put the boat in, and I literally just went idling down from his dock out of that creek, went to the other bank, idled down that creek, drove up a cove, and went like 3 coves, never found anything. Drove up to the next creek and went, idled down the south bank, went to the other side of the bank, and just saw them, and they looked like catfish, to be honest. When I found them, they were just on a do nothing in the timber. I saw like 8 or 10 of them beside a tree. And I was like, man, those look too perfect. Somebody probably been putting range cubes by that tree and catfishing. A lot of people like, it's a great catfishing, like these guys, catfish guide and catfish fish just all over the place, chumming trees. But they were like really tight to a tree. And I was like, man, I'll just come back and throw on it tomorrow in second day of practice to see if that's bass or not. And that's how I found that spot. I was really wasting time, but at the same time looking, obviously. And I came back and I made 2 casts. I came back the second day of practice. I had Shay Baker with me doing an article for Bassmaster. I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to go check this spot out, just like mid-morning, like 10 o'clock, kind of in that dull part of the day anyways. But, man, I'd marked these fish over here. I'm going to go see if they're catfish. I pulled up there and put the trolling under water. There wasn't anything by that tree, but I could see on my 360 they were kind of out behind that tree out in that open spot. And I made 2 casts, and I caught 2 of them, like 2 3/4 and like a 3 3/4. And I was like, the big ones almost eat it first cast every time in a school. I was like, it's a good thing it's bass. Second, it looks like they're pretty small. It might be somewhere I can come catch a 4 or 5 pounder if I need it, And never made another cast on it. And I came the first day of the tournament and already had 30 pounds at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Probably even before that, to be honest. Probably about 9 o'clock I already had 30. And I pulled up there. I was like, man, I'm going to go see what's on that spot, I didn't want to burn anything else. And I pulled up there and I wasn't ready for the size, to be honest. I threw a jig up there and I got dominated. 2 casts in a row, broke 2 off.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, crap. I better step my pound test up and get a better angle. And caught, 2 or 3 that didn't help. Then I caught a 6 something and I left. I never made another cast on it. And that's kind of how the whole story started right there, is just from there to there. Third day of the tournament, obviously I caught a bunch of them there. The second day, I caught every one but the 8 pounder there the third day. And I weighed every single fish off of it the final day.
Man, that's special.
It's pretty crazy, but I don't know. It was weird.
That is very special.
And now there will be a boat there every time you go back. How was the spectator boats and being that the lake was super low and you're the hometown favorite, like you said earlier, you had a lot of pressure on you. I'm sure you had not only family and friends kind of watching you, wanted to be out there with you, but other people just kind of watching and trying to learn or getting away.
Oh, yeah. None of those guys bothered me at all. They really kind of helped me, to be honest, for a few reasons. Obviously, it makes me fish harder and makes me want to do good, blah, 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 that whole cliche saying. But it kind of, as long as they don't get in my way ever, like I'll yell at them or point them around, I'll have to move them around every now and then.
A little traffic control.
Which that's fine. But they kind of give you a little bit of self-protection. Who's going to pull up on me and say, hey, can I fish with you when I got 30 boats watching me and a cameraman and 2 photographer boats, So it's kind of like a get out of jail free card for somebody pulling up and asking if they can fish with me. And I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but in my mind, it's kind of a little barrier there. And it's cool. Obviously, having some of them are friends, some of them are family, some of them are sponsors, and there's a ton of just random people that want to learn the lake and watch. Obviously, so they don't bother me at all.
Yeah,
That's pretty special, though.
yeah, very cool, man. Very impressive win. I'm sure you're when day 4 was over, you're kind of like, whew,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a huge win there. Just how it went down. I just won Ross Barnett and then came there and the best part about those 4 wins that we've talked about was winning one somewhere else besides Fork before both victories. I'd won Chickamauga right before I won my first Fork, and then won Barnett before this Fork. Or everybody would just be saying, "Oh, he just wins on his home lake." You know what I mean? So that was the best part, coolest part of the whole deal.
Yeah, I could feel that. That's what made Choke Canyon so special for me and you, or for me personally.
Yeah, winning away from your home lake's always
100%.
a big deal because everybody says just a fork hand.
100%. That it means a lot. And
not anymore.
You mentioned Ross Barnett, and sore subject for me at Ross, but that was a really tough one to pull off. Like, you didn't really know what was all gonna transpire the following days. Obviously, the day 1 was.
Did you know there was that kind of weight in there? I had no idea.
I don't think anyone did.
Where I caught the big bag, I didn't know what was really there. I'd made one cat, or I'd fished around there, obviously, and caught like a 4.5 pounder right there. But I caught it like going into the pads.
Yeah.
And I ended up catching it, and the lake dropped, whatever it dropped, 5, 6, 7 inches, I don't know. I don't remember. But the lake dropped, and I could see stuff behind me, and I ended up catching them behind me, that big bag. Now, where I tried to start was where Neil caught 26 pounds, and like there, I knew there was giants there. I knew somebody was going to catch a monster bag right there, just whoever
got on it.
They beat me to. There was already like 3 or 4 fish right there, and then I actually had the spot where kind of between Neil and where I was, that little point where there was a bunch of like Yuski and Dave Cabell, and I don't remember who I was right there. I thought that was the second best spot. Didn't get it. So I kind of got lucky, to be honest. That was my third choice, and pulled up there and nobody was on it. Called Gleason in there so he could kind of get on one side of me, and I just got lucky and saw those pads that came out behind me, and there was a little bit of pepper grass, a little bit of hydrilla, and a little bit of shell, and a couple stumps mixed in. And instead of 4.5 pounders, they were 5 pounders.
Yeah. I don't think even the locals. I think the locals were kind of taken back from the top 2 bags day 1. I don't know.
I mean, I was with a local the first day. I hadn't seen a bag that big here in like 4 years.
Yeah.
No,
100%.
That was before we weighed in, and Neil had more than me.
Yeah.
So.
I got to watch him catch that bag. That was a whole lot of fun. But I think
that was the best part, catching him on a Carolina rig right beside Daryl Gleason, like 20 foot from Carolina.
Oh, DG will love that one.
Oh, he told me he shared the stories. Like he'd catch a 5
that
pounder,
was
I'd catch a 2 pounder.
Watching me catch him on a Carolina rig, and then the second day when I done smashed it dry, I said, "Hey man, you can come over here now," and that really pissed him off. Obviously, me and Daryl are friends, and I was just joking with him. But
yeah,
he caught him too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
he did.
He does like to chunk the old ball and chain though. He's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's special, man. I kind of wanted to. You touched on talking about the industry and the state of that, the future of it.
Yeah.
We always like to get that opinion from different guys. We've had multiple guys on the show, multiple different pros, and everybody's kind of got a different opinion on it. So it's always kind of cool to hear what's your thoughts on the future of the sport. Obviously it's changing so much from year to year. The technology is changing a lot from year to year.
Yeah, kind of where it is now and where it should be, or if you think it's where it needs to be, or if there's a room for improvement, or kind of what your thoughts are.
I'll kind of compare it to this. I fished Fork yesterday afternoon with Jack York. Y'all know Jack, younger guy that got on Fork. I think he just qualified for the pro circuit, but I met Jack and ate lunch with Jack and sitting there talking, and he was like, "Man, what do you think they're all the guides. I think I don't have to guide full time anymore. They're all, fighting, and there's new guys every year and old guys, and it's just all a soap opera." And I went through it for 10 years too, trust me. I've been part of it. But Jack said, what do you think is going to be the future of this lake with all the pressure and the guides and, just the same question y'all are asking about the fishing industry. And I said, I'll answer that in just a minute. And we ate our lunch. When we went out there in the first spot, I threw out there and I caught one about 6 pounds that just looked like a big old butterball, like all the Lake Fork fish do. And he done forgot, about the question he asked me. I picked that fish up and kind of held it like a football, and I looked at him and I said, see this right here? And he's like, yeah, what about it? Because we're catching them every cast. I said, that's what the future of this lake. It's not going to change. It's Lake Fork. It's been through all kinds of stuff. It's been through drought. It's been through high water. It's been through grass. Been through LBVs, largemouth bass virus. It's been through everything, and it's still the best lake in the state to catch big fish. Just constantly. It ain't going nowhere. There's been the same drama with guides for 25 years now. Ain't nothing going to change at Lake Fork. And Jack was like, you know what? You're right. And we overthink that in the fishing industry. There's enough room for Stack Warehouse Pro Circuit, the Bassmaster Elite Series, MPFL. There's enough room in the industry. Obviously sponsors don't have enough money to pay every league the top dollar, but whatever they decide, whether it's BPT or Pro Circuit or whatever is where they want to spend their money, that's not up to me. But I think there's more than enough room for everybody to fish, and I want all the leagues or divisions, whatever you want to call it, to succeed, whether it's Major League Fishing or obviously the elites or Pro Circuit, anything. There's enough room for everybody to fish. There's enough people to fish. Obvious. I mean, look at the Opens and the Toyotas and all that stuff, and the college and high school is ridiculous. The industry's going nowhere in a bad way. There's obviously enough want. Now the technology stuff, man, that stuff changes every year, and it don't matter. You can't dominate with it. Look at John Cox. He's almost leading AOI in our deal, and look at 3 of my elite events have won with my power talons down or my Raptors this year down in 3 foot or less of water with my electronics off for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 3 of my 4 trophies are like that.
Yeah.
So the shallow water stuff still prevails 90% of the time. It's very rare we get to go fish an offshore tournament where you're actually using it on the elites. That's why John and guys like that don't care just go kick everybody's butt every time.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, the industry is great. It's healthy. I mean, obviously the demand is high right now, not just as anglers, but just recreational fishermen needing product, wanting product. Sales are at all-time high in a ton of categories. A lot of the stuff obviously is just back ordered right now, just from can't get it, but at the same time, the want's there too. I mean, you can look at the new Minn Kota target lock that I posted about yesterday and today. I mean, people are on there like grown men up there fighting about it, about when
yeah.
The want's definitely there, and the sport's healthy, and that's always going to be a question for everybody after the split with BPT. But all of us guys are friends, and nobody's going anywhere.
I like that answer.
That's a very good answer. It's a different answer than other guys.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of had a different answer for sure.
I kind of agree with it, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think so.
The demand is definitely there. There's plenty of anglers. There's plenty of room, like you said. One thing we always touch on is, and this is my only gripe about the high level. Curious your thoughts on it, but the highest level of our industry, elites, whatever it is, Pro Circuit, BPT, the higher the entry fees. Versus other professional sports, it's like once you've made it to the top level, you've made it. Your spot secure. You start to make more money. Whereas in the elites, now your entry fees have gone up. So
same thing with any Pro Circuit.
Yep.
Yeah, and obviously we've been fighting that battle with our earnings probably going down over the last 20 years, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or staying the same if nothing less. But at the same time, obviously, we try to compare ourselves to golf is what always comes up, But there's a lot more people that
play golf,
golf and watch it with bigger money into it than we do. Now, there's probably a lot more fishermen in the world than golfers by far, but a lot of them are just wreck fishermen. Like I said,
Yeah.
trout line and jug line and fishing for brim. I don't know what Bassmaster is. I don't what are you yelling at me for? I didn't know you're fishing a tournament. I don't care. We're going out and fishing.
Yeah.
There's way millions and millions more of that than we are, but they're buying the same product we are. Not all, but
Sure.
you know what I mean? They're fishing and buying the same license and using the same lakes and everything. So there's just
viewership.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we want, and when you get to that level, here's what I compared it to. You get to that level, you have to use your brand as an individual sole proprietor angler as your own brand to make more money from sponsors to pay yourself is what you have to do. So I have to make myself better and conduct myself better, whether it's on the water catching fish or on the phone doing this podcast or on the internet with social media to make companies want to pay me more. So that's where I'm making my money. Whatever I'm making on the water and having to pay entry fees should just be on the other side of it. That's being at that highest level, whether you're DPT, Pro Circuit, Elites, whatever it is, you have to brand yourself and make yourself as much money off the water as you can, because you're given that privilege by qualifying and being at that highest level. So my deal is I got to work and make, whoever it is, Shane or White or this store, that store, let them know what my worth is as an angler, because I'm one of 90 or I'm one of 80 or whatever it is on the pro circuit. So that you can make money in the industry, whatever you win on the water should just be extra at the end of the day. If you're the highest level guy, because of how it is, because we have to pay $40,000 in entries and we're only making $100,000 even if you win.
Yeah.
Which is very rare. So you got to make your money off the water in this business if you're going to not just make a living, but make a retirement out of it, or you're just going to be behind the eight ball.
That's a really well put, actually. I never really thought about that in that perspective, that you're given the privilege of having the platform to go and earn money off the water.
Right.
That's
you've earned that privilege as well, though.
Yeah. No, you earned it, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean by given, is you've earned that right, that privilege.
Yeah. That is an interesting way to look at it, though. 100%.
Man, I like that.
Yeah.
Get out there and hustle, boys.
Yeah.
You figure it out real quick because you think you qualify. People are just going to show up and they don't.
Me and Shane were just talking about this before the show, and you said you talked to Jack. Me and Jack both qualified this year for the circuit, and we're probably going to travel together next season. So, but the outside of it, I feel like the work's just started for me, and that's kind of what me and Shane were discussing before the show. I feel like the work's just started on this is a whole new world to me, and Jack's going to be in the same boat. Obviously, everybody's situation is different about, kind of what you come from and your background. Some people don't have to hustle for sponsor dollars, and that's just the God honest truth, because of what they come from and stuff of that nature. But I think the majority have to, and I think the majority are in this position like you just talked about. And it really is, this whole business side of it really is the bread and butter, because that's the last thing I want to do is be worried throughout the season from event to event, But I think that was a really interesting way to put it.
Man, great perspective for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Get out there and grind.
You gotta know your worth too,
Yeah.
I tell Jack that a lot, but at the same time, if you hadn't done anything for anybody, what is your worth?
Right.
Yeah. No, that's another interesting concept. You talked about college and high school. Unfortunately, I'm not man, you sound like such way more optimistic. Get out there and hustle. And I'm like Mr. Pessimist about, especially when it comes to the younger generation moving up. And you touched on some guys that, just because you've made it to this level, don't expect people come to you. You still got to get out there and go earn it and show your worth, like you said. But I do fear that, if kids aren't careful, they get handed a lot of stuff and there's this expectation of sponsorship, whereas that's really not the reality. It's like you said, you got to earn that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely correct right there. Exactly what you just said. And, I get to talk to a lot of the younger guys, especially college age guys that are qualifying or trying to qualify or have dreams of qualifying, obviously. And it's a lot, when I say easier, there's a lot more out there for them to see that, when I was that young growing up, or not that young, but younger, it wasn't nothing but like Bill Dance and Rowan Martin and Orlando Wilson, and then, with the live coverage and the internet, obviously I sound like I'm really, really old. I'm only 36 years old. And I guess that is old. I feel like I'm still like 20. But, I see what these kids have nowadays, and it's just insane how much further advanced they are to me. I talked about that with my buddy Parker the other day when we were fishing, and he didn't want to fish professionally, but he asked a lot of questions, like, and he's fished the opens and stuff. And I'm like, dude, he'll ask me like, were you this at 21 years old or however old he is, I was like, heck no, dude. I had no idea what I was doing at that, at that age. I could fish, but it's totally different with these kids nowadays. And me and Rick talked about the other day. He actually put an article about it, how good the young guys are. So it's crazy just how advanced they are, not just electronics, but obviously communication, knowing stuff before they get places, and stuff like that, which is good for them. I'm not talking bad about it at all. It just makes me hustle even more, knowing that those guys are so far advanced at their age compared to where I was then.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different game today for sure, especially in the opens. Opens are kind of like a free for all.
Yeah,
as far as info and that kind of stuff goes, for the most part.
Yeah.
These guys are
a little cutthroat out there.
It's savage, bro. Opens is like, in my opinion, Opens is probably the hardest level to win at right now.
Yeah, it's
no doubt. I hold that Ross Barnett trophy just as high as those 3 elite trophies.
You should, man. You should.
It's a it's a battle out there, and I fear the Red River we're gonna get another glimpse of it pretty hard right there. But
at least it's long and it stretches out at least.
That's true. That's very true. Very true.
It might fish small, but it'll fish big at the same time. Now, it's going to suck. Don't get me wrong, but those are the ones you can win.
That's right.
Yeah. Win a 3-day event with 27 pounds.
Yeah.
No, they could be that low, but it'll be low.
Yeah, it won't be that bad, but, that'll be good.
Yeah, you'll be fishing the final day, I promise you.
Just go catch 5.
Yeah.
I entered the Opens this year just to fish the Red River, and then I won Ross Barnett, something I have zero info on.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's the deal. You think, I'm going to fish this one that I know all this stuff on, or my buddy's a hammer on, and those are usually the ones you do the worst on. Like anything that I've ever been able to legally get info. I'm not talking about elites, but other tournaments, whether it's champs or opens or whatever. Dude, if I have information like the best stuff, I always bomb. I've learned it, and the same thing with the elites, and we talk about it all the time, and you just brush it off. Like dock talk is the worst thing you could ever listen to. Or if you have a buddy that you just know, we're off limits for information as soon as the schedule's out, but you always still know, okay, well,
yeah,
White usually smashes them on this spot in February or whatever it is. Y'all know what I'm saying, dude. You're gonna get your ass.
Dude, that is so true.
Catching other people's fish, man, it's hard.
Kids, they don't realize that, and they get burnt.
Yeah, that's so true.
Chasing other people's fish, man.
Very true.
Yeah, I've tried it and I've lost.
You got anything else?
Well, any chance you've got that new Humminbird? What is it called?
Oh, he's got it.
Target
lock.
Target lock.
Yeah, he's got it.
Like
Top
Top
Gun.
Gun.
Cool. It's pretty cool. So here are the 3 features. So you usually have your live or your live scope or active targets, Lawrence's on your trolling motor shaft.
Mm-hmm.
And there are aftermarket turrets too. Something right. There's multiple ones, but so this one connects to our network. It's a bracket just like the 360 bracket. Still holds your 360 on there, but it holds your live separate on a turret, another pole, and you have a hand remote and a foot remote. So you can now spot lock with your trolling motor with your old trucks. It's linked obviously with the network, so you can spot lock with it, and then obviously use your remote or your foot remote and look around your boat 360 degrees while you're spot locked and never have to get unspot locked like you used to. that's obviously the first and coolest thing. And then you can go to Minn Kota steer, which is it's in sync with your trolling motor head, just like it was attached to your trolling motor head. And you can, look with your trolling motor head just like you used to, and it'll follow it the same way. So you got that. And then we have the target lock. So if you're fishing a brush pile out to your left or in front of you, behind you, whatever, you can target lock onto that brush pile or that bridge pylon or that school of fish, that exact waypoint, and your boat can move around, whether it's left, right, back, forward, or in a circle, and your live will stay locked on that waypoint, on that brush pile or whatever it is. So those are 3 features. It's pretty cool. We've got all new updates for the Humminbird Live. It's like night and day, just the update as far as the live goes. I can see my worm hopping off the bottom or my hair jig hopping off the bottom out there 70 to 80 foot. See all the fish, obviously. So it's just the live itself is really a lot better. And obviously the features of the target lock's pretty cool. I've been using it since Pickwick, and I'm ready to go north with it and chase some smallmouth with it.
Oh man, I can imagine on the smallmouth.
No, I like that the lock feature. I mean, because changing angles or whatever, or moving around, the wind direction changes, and
that's probably the most interesting thing.
Yeah, that's the one that's most interesting to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, most of the spots, whether it's Rayburn or Fork, Chickamauga, Gunnersville, anywhere, unless you just have a big one, you're going to spot lock if you're fishing a school of fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we have 360 to see them moving around, but the deal with the live is you can just pan around and see where they're moving, whether they're following your bait in or just busting them up or getting off the bottom or totally moving around. It's pretty cool. I've been using it.
Right. Real time.
Well, man, we wish you the best of luck up north on the northern swing there. Wish I could come with you because I want to go catch smallmouth so bad and get out of this heat.
Yep. Well, we appreciate it again, Lee, and like you said, best of luck to you up there, and best of luck on the rest of your career, man. I know you got some special things coming. So.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on. Y'all have a good one, and holler if y'all ever want me back on.
Heck yeah.
Will do, man. Take care. Appreciate it.
All right.
What a great conversation.
Man, he just mellowed me out.
Yeah.
He just hey man, just relax.
He's we've asked Justin Lucas this question, we've asked a couple other pros this question, and we really have gotten mixed opinions about it. But that's probably definitely the most optimistic.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's as optimistic as it was realistic. Like, look, dude.
Realistic, yeah.
You qualified for the elites, which gives you a platform to go and hustle up some dollars off the water. And then whatever you do on the water,
you're one. Like I said, you're one of 90.
I never thought about it like that. That man's got his stuff together.
Yeah.
Okay?
He does. That's it's an eye-opener for me.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation. I learned something.
Yeah, I think he's got a real good perspective on it. I think he's got a good perspective on life, man. He's got a newborn.
Yeah.
He's coming off of some big wins.
Yeah, man. I mean, that definitely helps to have a pretty good attitude when you
a good perspective on life and a good perspective on the industry. So, I'm glad Lee came on, man.
I'm a fan. I have been a fan. I'm still am. I'm even more of a fan now.
Yeah, 100%.
Like the dude. Like the dude.
Good deal, man.
I mean, I feel like I could drink some Busch Light and go listen to Whiskey Myers with him.
It's a bad day to be a Busch Light, is what he says. So, yeah.
What's next? Are we going to make some more false promises about when we're going to do this again?
Let me make up some stuff real quick off the top of my head here. We have actually talked to Jordan Lee about coming on. It'd be cool to have him on.
Josh Jones.
I haven't talked to Josh about it in a while, actually, so I don't even know. I'm sure it could happen, but I haven't talked to him in a while about it. I know we could get some other guys on.
Yeah, I mean, we could find some guys. We just need to find the time.
I know, Ben Milliken would do it. He's a YouTuber, and he could give us perspective from that aspect of things. I don't know. We could do a bunch of different things. I mean, obviously, we'll take any ideas, but We're about to have to start really rolling out content, so this is going to be like.
We got to do Clint Wade.
Okay, yeah. We did.
For those of you who don't know, that aren't local, runs a tournament circuits under Outlaw Outdoors. He's got a couple different trails, if you will, and we want to he's willing to come in and talk about payouts and the business side of being a tournament director and running a tournament series and just to kind of shed some light on those topics. So I think that'll be a really good one. Hopefully it doesn't get out of hand.
I don't see why.
I'm just kidding.
I don't see how it would. Clint's a good
He's a straight
dude.
shooter, man. He's
Yeah.
gonna say it like it is, and he and I are buddies. And
I like Clint. I've never disliked Clint. Actually, you know that Jack
York
Tyndall
Tyndall
told me that when we won at Choke, they were having a tournament at that time. They were doing a weigh-in. I gave the Average Joe or something.
Yeah.
And Clint said on stage congrats to our boys or whatever.
Oh man.
Yeah, I didn't even know
How
that.
sweet.
I didn't even know that.
Thank you, Clint.
When Jack told me that, I was like, man,
He's a good dude.
Clint does like us.
I like him.
I like Clint too.
He
But
does.
anyways,
they do a good job, man. I think it'll be a good conversation. They do a lot of work. They put a lot of work
no, 100%
into their events. They're all over the place, but that'll be a good episode to do. We need to get him in here. Wyatt, I don't know if you're gonna be around. That's on you, bro. I got nowhere to go. I got no
Around for
boat.
what? Oh yeah, I'll come down there and do it.
You got Captain Ron's studio address.
We just gotta do it every week. Really, that's the big deal.
Oh, false promises.
We have to do it every week. We got it every week, don't we, guys? Every week.
Yeah. So maybe the next one we need to do a recap on Choke.
Yeah. We got a little sneak peek of that at the beginning of this episode.
I think it'd be a good opportunity to share what we used, what we caught them on, how we did it, whatever. I think it's interesting.
I'd make a whole series about it.
7 episodes. However many we got.
Yeah. Whatever. But that's about it, guys.
About him, you want to get him on? He won't come.
Sure. One thing I want to talk about in one episode before we go is just all this stuff, about Rayburn this year. Maybe we do a recap of the drama, what all happened this year, man, because I saw a new side of this, and look, I'll be the first to tell you, we talked about at the beginning of this episode, hopefully I get to go to the pro circuit so I ain't gonna have to deal with none of this next year, so I'll just lay it all out there and let you know, but
I'm jealous, dude. I think I'm gonna go fish a different lake.
Dude, I saw the new side of this lake like I've never seen this year's new side of guys, and I'm like, man, is it that bad?
It got bad.
It got a little ugly this year. And I kind of want to talk about it. Like I said, hey, I'm going to be gone. So,
you can't just leave me here. You can't just go on here and talk a bunch of mess and then leave me here and get beat up in the parking lot.
I'm not talking about talking mess. I'm just talking about
No, I'm not talking smack. But
dang, there's this much stuff that goes on off the water. All most people see is the end result on black and white on paper or who won but they don't know how it all happened. So
yeah,
anyways, that's just an idea. Maybe it's something we don't do.
I think when we talk about that kind of stuff, we tend to get more views. Not that we're out there to stir drama for more views, but yeah. I think if we just shared some events and some things, some behind the scenes things that happened, not necessarily name any names or highlight anything or say anything wrong like that, say who did wrong or who did right, not give our opinions on that, but just kind of lay some things out there that definitely Rayburn's getting shook up a little bit.
Definitely. It's on edge, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension.
And if you don't talk about this stuff, to be honest, the pot will boil over, and when it does, it's gonna be a mess.
Yeah, even just ethics, even just I don't know.
I'm not talking about, like you said, not talking about calling anybody out or anything, but if you don't have these conversations and bad stuff will start to happen, man. It will. Ugly stuff.
Like tires getting slashed?
That's yeah. It's happened. It's happened.
cutthroat out here, kids.
Before we go, real quick too, Brandon Belt Fishing is releasing their YouTube video of day one of the Brandon Belt $100,000 Grand Slam tonight at 5 on their YouTube channel. That'll be day one, and that'll be cool. Be a real good deal. Y'all go check that thing out.
I'll watch it after I watch episode 6 or 7 of
Whatever, man.
Deep Waters.
Why heard you just say that, man? Anyways,
You started it.
I didn't start it.
You started it.
I'm
just trying to learn, man. I just want to learn. There's knowledge out there. Anyway, I
think that did it, dude.
said enough.
I think that did it, man.
All right.
Till next time, guys. Till next time.